Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Coach Lori Anne. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a gloriously wonderful day. You know, here in Healthy Lifestyle, we're going to give you some verbal caffeine to light you up with possibilities. And today on our show, we have the beautiful Linda Eicholz. She is a CPA for over 20 years and enjoys helping individuals and businesses through guiding them through the fearful process of dealing with what? Dun, 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 the IRS. Welcome to the show, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So yeah, I had to give you some theme music with the IRS because everybody's like, taxes. So I know you're just so savvy in taxes and preparation and things like that, but you also have this service which is called Premier Tax Relief, and you have a website, premiertaxrelief.com, that helps people who are receiving these unbelievable amounts of letters that are coming out from the IRS going to individuals and to businesses, just basically wanting to give them a colonoscopy with their taxes. So talk to us about like what is going on? Why are so many letters suddenly coming out? Is this like an initiative from somewhere, or help us understand what's going on?
Okay, sure. So when we had COVID in 20 and 21, the IRS didn't shut down, but they pretty much put everything on hold. So for 2 years, they were not sending out tax letters. So here we are, 22 started going out, 2023. And now in 24, they hired some more tax representatives, and they're getting a lot of letters out to individuals. So there's a couple of things, if I may. There's a form letter, LT38. This is a notice that people will receive, and pretty much it's letting you know that during the pandemic, collection notices were suspended. However, they're resuming their operations, and any balances that are outstanding is going to be noted on that letter. To be aware, you're going to start getting other collection letters. So that's really where this all stemmed from.
Yeah. So when they receive these letters and let's just say they have an outstanding balance, are they being impacted all the way back to when they suspended sending the notices, or from the point of the letter forward?
No, from when they filed their returns back in 2020 and 21. However, they are abating the penalties for them since they closed down for those 2 years, or not closed down, but since they ceased sending out letters, they are abating the penalties, and a lot of them
relieving it.
Yes, relieving the penalties. Interest, however, whole nother story. Interest will not be. You cannot try to, I cannot try to abate an interest. I can try to abate penalties, but not interest.
So it's not an automatic abatement. So that's why they should really get someone like you, a professional who knows how to speak to the IRS so that they can get the abatements.
Absolutely. And along with that is, I take this into my hands. So I would speak to the client, get all the information I need. There's something called a power of attorney, a POA, where I would have them fill out, sign, and that allows me to step in the shoes of the client. So I would then speak to the IRS on their behalf, and they would have nothing to do with the IRS.
And you would take it from that point, soup to nuts, to negotiate with the IRS and get the best resolve that you can on that LT38.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
And then once they send out the LT38, how long do they have to remedy?
Well, the first thing is, as soon as you get a letter, please call a tax professional. You have to call
any letter from the IRS.
Any letter from the IRS, call a tax professional, because many people, of course, they see letters from the IRS, they get fearful and they put it aside. And that is really the worst thing you can do, because this first letter stating that they're going to be sending out, you're getting this letter because of COVID, there are 5 other letters that the IRS can send out if you ignore this letter or any other letter going forward. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go over those letters.
Yes, please. Yes, please, please.
Okay, so there's tax letters CP 14. You don't really have to worry about the numbers per se, the tax forms. I just want to let you know that's the first letter, and what that is stating, it is letting the taxpayer know that there is a balance due. So normally you have 60 days to reply to that.
Okay.
If you don't reply to that, there's a balance due letter, first reminder that comes out, which is, of course, is a whole different letter number. That's CP 501.
I love that you're giving the numbers CP 501, CP 14, and LT 38. So when you see those numbers, you're able to know what it's about. And so continue to do that. That's great. So the CP 501 is the balance due letter because it's still open, right?
Correct. And it's actually a required to pay letter.
Okay.
So each letter gets more in depth of what you need to do ASAP. The next letter, for instance, is a second reminder letter, and that is letter CP 503. And that states that payment has not been received, again, and they request for payment. So those three notices are, okay, I didn't do anything. However, the next notice you absolutely do not want to get into. That is the intent to levy notice. And that is letter CP 504.
Now, what does that mean, intent to levy?
Intent to levy. That means they can go into your bank account and take out this money that is owed to the IRS.
Yikes.
Yes.
With no permission, they can just reach in and pull out.
Absolutely.
Anything they want.
Anything they want.
Whoa.
Anything they want.
That's scary.
It's scary, and there's no need to let it go that far, because
Right.
someone like myself can help you. A tax professional can help you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get into those waters with the IRS. You're not dealing with anything. Once again, I take over everything, speak to them on your behalf, keep in contact with you, the client, so that they know exactly what is going on, as I know.
Can we just back up for a second? Because I just it's going through my head now. The LT 38, that's the very first letter that they send out, but they're only sending it out to people who may have not filed before or have filed.
They're sending it out to people who owe money, but since they shut down, I keep saying shut down, it's not shut down. Since they ceased sending out letters, that's a letter to say, hey, you're going to be getting another letter. That first letter is going to be that CP 14,
right,
which tells you that you owe money.
Got it.
Then the subsequent letters come after that.
So this differs from when you're being audited?
Correct. This
Okay,
is
so
not
this has
an audit.
nothing to do with audit. It has to do with you filed your taxes, you did what you were supposed to do, you still owed money, but you didn't pay money because there was no place to pay it to, because they weren't able to receive that stuff in or send out the letters of what you owed. Although I don't understand, how would someone not know what to pay the IRS when they work with tax professionals?
Well, it's not exactly, it's that they didn't pay, not that they didn't know what to pay.
Oh, okay. Okay. So these are people who they were aware that they owed money to the IRS, but they just didn't pay it for whatever reason.
Correct. That's
And
correct.
now they're coming in, and why were additional IRS people put on?
Because there was such a backlog that they're having people come on to help send out these letters. These letters are automatic as well. But the more letters, you have thousands and thousands of letters going out, you need more people to mandate the phones. You need more agents. You need more, there's something called that you can call and have a tax advocate. They work for you, but through the IRS. So they're hiring all these individuals to do work to help gather really the liability that's due. That's the bottom line. That's
And whose brainchild was this to add all these IRS people to do this?
Well, it's obviously government, so the government gets, what I'm saying, it's the government.
It was the federal government. It was our senators and congressmen and women, and the White House all was involved in putting this into effect.
Correct. Yep.
And that to deal with the backlog.
Yes.
Okay. That's really helpful to know. It's just so amazing. And the IRS is different. That's federal taxes. That we're not talking about state taxes at this point.
Totally two separate entities or government agencies, I should say. Yep.
So they haven't put on additional people, the states.
They haven't. They haven't. Not like the IRS. But if you're going to get a letter from the IRS because taxes weren't paid, some people owe to the IRS, some people don't owe to the state, so you may not get a letter.
Right. Okay.
But you will eventually get a letter from New York State as well, or any other state for that matter, if you owe money and you didn't pay it.
Got it. Got it. Really interesting. So best way to handle it, you're saying reach out, you get the letter, don't freak out, don't put it aside, reach out to somebody who does it. If they don't have someone that they did it themselves, they did the TurboTax way. You know, I see those commercials all the time, right?
Yes.
They do the TurboTax way. What are next best steps for someone who did it themselves? Now, are they absolutely freaking out?
I'm sure they're absolutely freaking out, and I would recommend calling me at 631-377-5112.
631 or 516?
631.
Awesome. And some professional like that, because you have an expertise in tax relief, and your website is premiertaxrelief.com. And we're speaking to Linda Eicholz, from Premier Tax Relief. And you're just here to provide some guidance and to really inform people and educate people on best practices when you get letters like this from the IRS. Because I was hearing a lot of our listeners are receiving these letters, and they are freaking out, and they weren't sure what to do. And many of them did the TurboTax prep. Does that put them in a more liable situation, or is it about the same and they just have to remedy?
Here's the thing. It could, it's a good software to use. The thing is, you're using the software yourself. I know they have help you can call, but if they follow with tax software like that, you go through step-by-step answers. But if you do one wrong click, or if there's something you don't know, you're unsure of, and either you skip it or enter something incorrectly, you're going to get a letter from the IRS. Doesn't mean necessarily that you owe the money, right? But maybe you don't. Maybe you did something, unfortunately, you hit something that shouldn't have been hit. Yeah. So it's best to go see a tax professional to even have your tax returns done.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer of, if it's not in your wheelhouse, don't do it. I don't do math. I want to go to professionals like yourself who do math and enjoy it. I do not. And so I'll do marketing, but not math. So I think it's really important to stay in your wheelhouse. So if it's not your area of expertise, you really should go, because if you do the upfront cost of hiring someone, an expert in the field, your back end costs will be reduced, because that's what you're talking about. Someone who does their own taxes doesn't mean they didn't do it right. It just means that you have somebody else standing next to you taking over. And in this case, you literally, based on what you said, you literally take it on and you say, okay, I'm going to take care of this. So you don't have to worry. I'll get back to you on what the resolve is. And you go in and negotiate, because you know what you can negotiate and what is just not negotiable. Like the interest is not negotiable at this point.
Correct. And also there is one final letter of levy that you would get from the IRS. And that is the LT11 or L1058. And what that is, wages get garnished. They can levy your assets, which means your house, cars, any assets you have, they can levy. So now we go from just the bank account to everything you owned.
Woo!
Exactly.
Who gave them this power? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So it does encourage you to file your taxes and pay your taxes and get it taken care of, so you don't get these letters, because that's it's terrifying. And the thought that you have to pay interest all the way back to 2020, 2021, we're in 2024. The interest is ridiculously high. I mean, the penalties taking off, it doesn't compound, but still that you have to pay all the way back there because they didn't have the mechanisms in place doesn't make sense to me. and perhaps maybe that's why there's a little bit of wiggle room for negotiation. Is that what I'm kind of hearing?
Correct. It depends on how much you owe. If you owe under 50,000, there's certain programs that you can get into. I'm sure everyone has heard Fresh Start.
Mhm.
on ads, oh, if you have trouble with the IRS, get into the Fresh Start program. Really, that's what this is. That's what I do. It's just not, I don't call it Fresh Start. It's helping you, taking you under my wing and helping you out to get through this crisis in your life, because
Yeah.
a lot of people, they put their head in the sand for so long, but then it's very nerve-wracking and scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're utilizing your expertise of years of doing this. You have 20 some odd years of doing it. I don't know why I said 30. I just aged you.
You're dating me now.
I'm so sorry. I want you to be with me. I have 35 plus years in marketing and business. And so I was bringing you along. So,
There you go.
but I didn't want to be the senior in the room. So, so I brought you with me. But yeah, this is really good information. So how do you handle things like interest and penalties and like, how do you handle that? What do you do?
Okay, well, as far as interest, just to let you know, the only way not to have interest is to pay your liability on time. Normally what happens is the due date of the personal tax returns, if we're talking personal tax returns, is April 15th. So by April 15th, any liability that's due must be paid. The IRS started, if you don't pay 110% of your prior year's liability, there's another penalty that gets latched onto that.
What does that mean? Like, why would I have to pay more than what I owe?
Because normally it's every year things go up a little. So if you had $1,000, you should be paying $1,100 this year into taxes, so that you'll get it back if it's not more than that, or you won't be owing. Because there's this came out last year, I believe it was last year, where they added on additional monies for you not paying the correct tax liability from prior years. And by doing that, you would take on, what you would do is you would pay estimated taxes throughout the year.
Yeah. Now that it's mandatory, you have to pay estimated taxes as a business person.
Yes. Yes.
As a business, you have to pay estimated taxes every quarter, whether or not.
Correct.
And that's crazy, because
it is, and
you're paying for something that you don't even, like, you're shooting in the dark. But if you don't pay, it's going to take 110%.
That's where a CPA, a tax professional can guide you with that, at least to help you out to see, okay, things change, things happen. Income goes up, income goes down. So, but we can help you decipher what would, or should be paid quarterly for the subsequent year. Because interest, and this is a big thing with interest is compounded daily, not monthly.
What does that mean for us lay people?
What that means is, if you have interest every day you owe money, interest is accrued every day. So you take $100, just say there's interest of $10. It's now $110 the next day. So you're paying interest on 110, not the original amount. And it just keeps building and building and building. And that does not stop.
Until you pay it.
Correct. The penalties do stop. The failure to, there's a couple of penalties which we can get into. But the penalties eventually will stop after a certain amount. It's like 5% up to 25%, which is still a lot of money if someone owes a lot of money on their return as a liability, but it ceases at 25%.
Okay.
Interest does not.
Oh, yay.
They give you a break. Not really.
Yes, that's quite the break. So, to the listeners, I'm bringing this to you on healthy lifestyle, because a healthy lifestyle is really having control and understanding of what your commitments are and what your responsibilities are. And if you take 100% responsibility, which, I'm a big proponent of your life, it's not a blame game. It's okay, this is what I have to do. I may not like it. It may not be a choice of ours, but this is what we have to do to contribute to the society. And we want to be informed, because information empowers us and it gives us choices. And this is what I think, Linda, you're really helping us decipher some of these crazy letters that people are getting, and they don't know what to do, and they feel like they're out of control and they're
Exactly.
losing control in their life. You gain control by information, by speaking to experts like Linda. It's Linda Eicholz is who we're speaking to today. She's from Premier Tax Relief, premiertaxrelief.com. You can reach her at 631-377-5112. And you are listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. We are going to take a short break. We will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Coach Lori Anne. If you'd like to be a guest or lift up your business, product, or not-for-profit, or if you have a question or comment, we would love to hear from you. Email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. And we can be seen and heard on YouTube and all the podcasting platforms as well. Please follow, share, tell your friends, bring your friends. We really appreciate the following. We do appreciate all of our followers. You guys make us who we are, and we really do appreciate it. So today we are talking to Linda Eicholz. She's from Premier Tax Relief, helping us get some more information so we can take action. I'm a take action success coach. Recently, by the way, Linda named America's #1 take action success coach. I was very proud when I was named that. But we want to take action. And how do we take action is we get control of what is going on. And if you receive any of the IRS letters that are going out, really you need to take action. It's not time to bury our heads in the sand. It's time for us to take action, reach out to a professional like Linda, and speak to them, see what they can do for you. And if they're not an expert in tax relief, which is real important, not all CPAs are, they can probably guide you, but not all of them will do this. Linda does do that, and she's at premiertaxrelief.com. So you could reach out and talk to her, and she'll guide you and direct you in the right direction if you're not a good fit. Right, Linda?
Correct. Absolutely. So I'd like to say a little bit about getting started as far as getting ready for the tax season. Here we are. It's already almost the end of February. So if you have not, I know, yes, February, time flies when you're having fun. If you have not gathered your information, it is so important to gather your information for your taxes and not wait until the last minute, because things I always find are missed. So then I have to go back to my client and ask them for particular information, and things get delayed. And it's just good practices. Starting January, you start getting tax letters. Anything that says, that's some stuff, huh?
This is my folder. Every time I get something in the mail, I stuff it in this folder. I just keep it together, and then I hand it over to my tax preparer, because I just feel like I don't even want to look at it. I just stuff it in here. So
that's exactly what I was going to say. So of course, take action from the beginning, like Lori Anne, and put it in one place, one folder. Anything that says tax document or important tax document, whether you think it's needed or not, put it in that one envelope and bring that to your tax preparer. Because I always tell my clients, I'd rather have more information than not enough.
What am I looking for? Am I looking for my tax bills? And what documents should I be looking for? What should I be bringing with me?
Okay, so people that are employees, they're going to be getting W-2s. People that are independent contractors are going to get something called the 1099-MISC, which is miscellaneous, or NEC. So you would have to bring that along. Now, if you're an independent contractor and you get one of these 1099s, you're going to have expenses that you can take off for your business that you need to bring along with you. For instance, if you use internet service, you cannot take all of the internet service if you're working from your home, but you can take some of it. If you're working from your office, you're using the internet. So of course you could take a portion of that. And that's something I would guide you through. And there's formulas you can use to see exactly how much you can take. Cell phone, if you have an office phone, if you buy anything for the business, printers, computers, that's all a write-off, which will lessen your taxable income and help you save on tax liability that maybe you do not owe.
Now, two questions I have. It goes back to the first segment is a W-2 probably is not receiving an LT-38.
Correct.
We're talking about business owners that are probably getting the LT-38.
Well, actually, it depends because an LC-38, just to clarify, is when someone could work as a W-2
And still owe money.
and still owe money. Exactly. That's
Okay.
the key. It's the liability that's due to the IRS that
Okay.
has not been paid.
Gotcha. But if you get a W-2, you don't have all these deductions, right? You have
Correct.
what are the
Because
basic
you work for
deductions?
an employer. So
Right. So as a W-2, if I get a W-2, I could take off my house, right? I can't take off my rents.
well, here's the thing. Back in 2018, a law went into effect that something called for New York, well, it's not only New York, it's called the SALT tax. So what happens with that is they take your state taxes plus your real estate taxes, add them together. And we know on Long Island, which we are based, real estate taxes are very high. You can only take up to $10,000.
That's killer. That's killer.
It is killer because most people's real estate taxes are over 10,000.
Yeah.
So
Times two.
yes. So what happens is there are just very quickly, there's a Schedule A, which is an itemized deductions that someone can claim, or a standard deduction. If your standard deduction is higher than your itemized, you go with the standard. Years ago, prior to this law, there was always most people that owned a home got the itemized deduction because there's other things on that itemized deduction that can be deductible. Charitable contributions, but you must have receipts. That's a big thing. If someone is paying health care and they have medical bills, and unfortunately some of us may have more medical bills than others, there is a minimum before you can start deducting them. But once again, that goes on Schedule A. So you take all of these expenses, add them together, and a lot of times it's over your standard deduction. But since that cap is at 10,000 for the real estate and the state taxes, most people are taking the standard deduction. Now that law is up in 2025. They're going to be revisiting it. So, hopefully that will change because it's tough on the East Coast and West Coast when there's a lot of when real estate taxes are very high. It's very difficult.
Yeah, it seems like it's just attacking people with very high areas of cost expense, living expense. And that's not really equitable to any of us.
Just to clarify, this is for the IRS. You can take it off of New York State.
Right.
But the IRS is normally the return where most people got back more.
Yeah.
So it's hurting all of us.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, all of us on the East Coast and West Coast.
West Coast, exactly.
It's
exactly.
really California, New York, and Florida. Those are three states that get killed the most.
Yep. Connecticut too is up there, Jersey. But yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm, let's just say I'm a new business owner and I don't know what to put together. What are some of the things? You said cell phone, your internet, your home office, you might have an office phone, you might buy new computers. You have other expenses that you're going to put onto credit cards and stuff like that. How about software packages that you have to run your business? So
absolutely.
Okay. So you need to really keep track of things like that. What are some of the other things that people should make sure you have these numbers with you?
Advertising, whether it's paper, advertising or you're doing it online, internet wise. It's advertising is a big one. Exactly. Marketing. A lot of depending, this is a tricky situation. So some of the vehicle expenses can be deducted, but it depends on your situation. And I say that lightly because of the fact a lot of people are working from home. So if you're going from your office to go visit one client, it's not really deductible as far as that one trip because every day W-2 people have to go to work. So you go from A to B. If you're going from B to C, all of that is deductible. So I say that lightly. So that's something that you'd have to speak to your accountant about. But the other expenses are any office expenses, staples, staplers, pens, folders to put all your tax information in,
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
anything like that. So
Gotcha.
keep track of, try to keep good records. That's another thing. Many people don't, they don't keep records, and unfortunately, you're losing out on possible deductions.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What's your thought about having like one business credit card where you put all your business expenses on it and using that?
I think that's a fantastic idea, and that's the only way preferably to do it, because you don't want to start using your personal and then you have to, start taking money, take the expenses off of there. If you have a business card and everything goes on that business card, it's clean, it's neat, it's all on there, and you give that to your accountant. I have individuals give me their bank statements and their credit card statements. And I actually go through them and I would put it into QuickBooks for them so they can see what their expenses are, what their income is, how are they doing, where they can save. So another big thing in general with taxes as far as businesses go, it's very important to know how your business is doing. Because if you don't keep track and you're unorganized, you have no idea what you're spending money on, where it's going, and it could be detrimental to the business.
Yeah, I had a client who it's a brilliant business, and they had no idea if they were actually making money. They didn't know what gross profit was. They didn't understand that, what they were doing, what they were paying for the product they were utilizing to make the product that they were selling,
Mhm.
if it covered it. And when we did the books, when we finally sat down and did it, they were basically doing things for free. They were guiding stuff and then sending it out. And between all of those expenses, they were basically doing the work for free, even though it looked like there was a flow of money. It's just that they would bring the product in and then the product would go out and they would get money in. And it always looked like there was a flow of money, but they were really rinsing, repeating, and just putting money back into the business, putting money back into the business and not walking away with anything, and couldn't figure it out. And it's because they didn't put money in for themselves, and they weren't buying in a manner in which, or pricing their product in a manner in which they make profit. So
Right.
and I'm sure that happens with a lot of newbies because that's not their zone of genius. So again, we want to find power partners in our businesses who handle things like that. Get an accountant, get a CPA, get someone who knows how to do that and can walk you through and look at the health of your business and say, hey, you're doing X, Y, and Z. Maybe you want to try something different.
Exactly. And a healthy business leads to a healthy lifestyle. It
Yeah,
just does.
that's
So,
right. That keeps you
oh,
happy, and that allows you to dream and do other things. So,
absolutely.
we want to do what the Europeans do. They work so they can play. They don't work 24/7 like we do here. They really just do it so that they can pay for what they want to do. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's doable for everybody.
yeah, it really is. It really is. It's possible. It really is possible. That's why I like the quote from Muhammad Ali. It's he takes the word impossible and breaks it into two, into I'm possible. So I love that because it's true. Anything is possible. We just have to really surround ourselves with the people who can help guide us in the direction to achieve. And that achieving starts with understanding what you want. So a lot of
Yeah.
people don't get asked that question, and certainly I know nobody wants to do their taxes, but we have to. So let's back up for a second because I jumped right into business with you. Is how did you get into doing all this math and being a CPA and doing this for the last 20 plus years?
Ever since I was in high school, I loved math. So, and I always said, you know what, I want to be an accountant. And I didn't start right out of school. I worked and then I went back to school and passed the CPA exam and, started my own business. And here I am. I mean, I worked for 3 other CPAs because you have to do that to get certified. And I just love what I do. I love helping people. See, I look at this as helping clients, not just doing tax returns, not just pushing numbers.
Yeah. It's creating a better lifestyle. If we know where we are, we can work from and make, if we're aware of what we have, what we don't have, we can make better choices. Everything starts with awareness. If we keep our heads in the sands, it feels good there, but it's only a temporary feel good, I promise.
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you start getting those letters.
Yeah. Fun fact, when I was in high school, back then, I don't know if they still do that, back in the ages of the dinosaurs, and we used to write on slates. I'm only kidding. My guidance counselor told me, based on a test result or what have you, that I should have been an accountant. And I was like, I don't want to be an accountant. And they were like, no, you should go to college to be an accountant. And I was like, I don't want to be an accountant because I didn't enjoy it. And isn't it funny that they were saying, oh no, this is where you should be. And I'm like, please don't make me do that.
It's interesting. And you have to really love what you do.
Yeah.
And I can see you love what you do.
Oh, I do. I absolutely love what I do. And here's the inside scoop secret. I do a lot of math. In marketing, there's a lot of math. In coaching, there's a lot of math. I do what's called napkin math. I take the big numbers and simplify them so that we can really, we're not overwhelmed by the numbers that we want to do, by the dreams that we have, because we can have really big, audacious, I call them hairy, bad dreams. I won't use bad words, but it's these great dreams and they're attainable. You just have to break it down. It's kind of like eating a pizza. We don't eat it in one bite. We break it into slices and take bites from there, right? So it's the same thing with your dreams and the same thing with your taxes. It's annoying. We have to do it every year. I personally would love them to go just to a flat tax where everybody pays the same tax. You make more money, you pay the same percent tax, just at the higher rate. It just takes all this craziness out. May put you in a different job though, but it would make it a lot simpler, right?
True, very true. But you know what? I really feel that there's always going to be something out there for me to do regarding taxes, even if there's still problems where people don't pay their taxes. Yeah. And that's where I can help you as Premier Tax Relief and help you pay less to the IRS. Yeah. Fight on your behalf.
But in a legal way, so that you're keeping
exactly.
And what's that return for you on keeping people safe like that? Like when you have a good win and you get to present that to your client, how does that make you feel?
It really makes me feel great because I know I'm helping the client out. They can sleep at night. They can, not have to worry about IRS doesn't not come to your door. They will not be knocking at your door. So just to reiterate that, as far as any IRS, you will not get a phone call. You will not get a text. You will not get emails. They do not do that. So if anyone gets anything like that, it's a scam. Please, please, please do not open it. Do not, do anything with it. But it really makes me feel great. And it makes the client feel great, but more so for me, I'm just so happy that I can help them.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's a fulfilling feeling that we were able to take them from having that crazy, is it an LT38 or an LC38?
LT.
LT. Yeah, if we got that letter knowing that there's a professional sitting beside us and walking us through, it's similar to having a coach. You're a tax coach. That's what you are. We stand beside you as a coach and we walk through the walk. You make suggestions, they make decisions. As a coach, I make suggestions and my clients make decisions.
Exactly. It's all up to them. And there are different avenues. There's not just one avenue that you could go. There's payment plans that you can go because it depends on everyone's situation is different. So not everyone's going to be able to have a tax relief. And, you hear the commercials out there, if you owe more than $50,000, we paid it for $5,000 or $10,000. That's always not necessarily so. Maybe for them, they're talking specific individuals, but everyone is different. So you have to look at everyone's situation and then go the best plan that is for them, that I can help them.
Yeah, and that goes back to awareness. If we're aware, we can make these better decisions. And you're bringing these options that we probably don't know about because, I wouldn't know what the options are. I don't know, like, what do I do now? So knowing that you're sitting next to us and even with tax preparation, forget about the letters, just regular tax preparation. It's nice to know you'll be sitting next to me if we do get a question from the IRS and you'll be able to help walk it through. And I wouldn't be doing it alone. And that's the best thing. You're not alone. There are sources. There are people out there that can help you. So never despair when these things happen. It's just a blip in your life. And I like to look at things that we feel are negative. I like to look at it and ask myself the question of, what am I supposed to learn? It may be as simple as next year I'm going to do my taxes on time, or it may be as simple as I'm going to pay attention to these things because these things I'm not supposed to do anymore. So I wouldn't look at it as a horrible no-win scenario. It just is what it is. So let's address it with a professional like you, Linda.
Correct. And
Last thoughts and takeaway. Sorry to interrupt. Last thought,
okay.
and like a takeaway for the listeners, like give them a take action. Give them something.
A take action would be, if you receive any of these letters, please give me a call, or call a tax professional to get it resolved for you in the best possible way so you can sleep at night. Make sure you do your tax returns every year. Tax season is here. Give myself or another professional a call so you can get these done. It's not as bad as you think it is, especially when you do not have to deal with the agent or with the government agency that is you're getting these letters from.
Yeah, without a doubt. PremierTaxRelief.com. You can get to Linda Eicholz at 631-377-5112. If you don't have someone, reach out to Linda. If it's not going to work between you and Linda, she'll guide you to other people. She has people in the industry. And I know, Linda, you're crazy busy. So I appreciate you taking this time to spend time with us and the Healthy Lifestyle listeners. I think you're the bomb. You're just so transparent. You're so honest. And you're so kind when you deliver bad news. I do appreciate that. So it's like, okay, we can do this. And it's always in a way that is comforting. And I think that's important when we're dealing with something like this, because there's so many unknowns and that we don't even want to deal with, that you have the expertise on. So all these years, it really does matter having the right tax preparer and somebody who really can be your advocate if you get one of these letters. So again, don't wait. Make sure you reach out to someone. Linda, thank you so much for being on today.
No, thank you. I truly appreciate it. You're a wonderful person, and keep doing the great work that you do. Thank you so much.
Oh, Linda, thank you so much for that. And thank you all for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I hope we have earned the privilege of your time. In the meantime, look for our show next Saturday at 3 p.m. on JBC Broadcasting, and we can be found on all major platforms. And we would be so grateful if you please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I am Coach Lori Anne. Play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big. There's no excuses. Do it. Thanks again, Linda. Have a great day.
All right. You too.